Let's talk hunting, and tonight we have great Zippadelli, better known as Zippy. How you doing, Zippy?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Glad to be with you.
Awesome. Well, I know that our buddy Hal isn't feeling very well, so thank you as co-host for joining in with us tonight in Drop Zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Our thoughts and prayers are with Hal. He's struggling a little bit with the COVID, so we'll just keep him in our prayers. And it kind of came on quick, but he's tough. He'll do fine.
He's tough. Yep. Well, we will keep him in our thoughts and prayers for sure. So. Well, why don't you? We're going to let everybody ask questions tonight, kind of as we go. For for the many of you that may not know Zippy quite as well as Hal, Zippy is a world famous running the Stewart has NASCAR team. So that any NASCAR fans out there, this your shot. Tell Zippy he did it wrong or something, or tell him he did it right, because he runs quite a team over there. But with that, Zippy, you want to tell us a little bit about Drop Zone, how long you've been with Hal, and then give us a little bit about NASCAR. I think that's so interesting, and they're all hunters, and how you got here. So
yeah, for sure. So it was probably 12 years ago. A mutual friend, an engineer that I had when I was at Joe Gibbs Racing. It might have been 13 years ago, but who's counting? Said to me, I got a couple friends from South Carolina, and they're hunters, and they heard that you like to hunt. So growing up, I grew up in Connecticut, New England area, and we lived in the woods, and we hunted and snowmobiled and dirt biked, and just for the most part, my dad hunted a little bit and went with him. So I enjoyed it, and shot archery at 14, 15 years old, and then my family raced. So I was hunting and I was racing, kind of like, and then the racing took over. So we're in our 10th season with Hal and I, and started Drop Zone from scratch. It's just continued to grow, and Hal's and mine relationship is friends, and host and co-host, and has just continued to. We've been blessed. We've had great partners like yourself for long periods of time. He invited me with Kenny Cobb on a hunt in Kentucky, and it was one of those hunts where you shoot a doe, shoot a buck, and you score. So yeah. Hal gave me his muzzle loader. He was a camera guy. Him and I got in a stand, and I shot a little 10-point whitetail about 8 to 10 inches further back than you'd want to shoot one.
We've all done it, right?
Yeah. I blame it on Hal's gun. He sighted it and he handed it to me. It was perfect. Right. I think he set me up because he had me on camera. But we tracked this buck for miles, and we found him. Had the greatest time. Spent 2 or 3 days together, and just started to get to know each other a little better. Just started talking more about hunting and opportunities. And he came and he goes, "This is a crazy idea, but would you have any interest in starting your own TV show?" And I guess I was a little naive, and I said, "Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, when it sounds fairly simple, right?"
And was Hal, if I remembered a little bit, because you've had me a couple times to the track, and it's just a ball. And I'll hear Hal kind of start to tell stories about, was he a pit man or tire changer? What did he do? And because he tells me that maybe he won the Daytona 500, but I'm pretty sure at most he might have just been changing tires. So, which is still pretty impressive. But
anybody that knows Hal is, and this is a compliment. That is there anything Hal hasn't done or can't do? I'm telling you, he's one of the smartest guys I know. It doesn't matter if it's working on electricity, or it's something's broke down, or something from the past. I mean, he is honestly very worldly. But he worked I guess an ARCA car back in the days with I think Mark Staller said so.
The old Winston Cup days.
Yeah. So for me, so that got the hunting going, where I was able to hunt a little bit. I've got 3 kids, 2 young boys. I kind of got interested and say, "Oh, this could be fun," because after racing, it might be might be something fun. And my boys take interest in it, that I can spend some quality time with them. And my oldest, who's just turned 20, him and I have had a lot of fun last 4 or 5 years of spending some time in the woods and camp together, and giving us back a little of that time that I missed as kids. So that's kind of how I had it down. As Hal kind of knew a lot about it, and I was naive, and he took advantage of me, and here we are 10 years later. We're doing all right.
So now, because it seems like they keep extending the NASCAR season because it's one of the most popular sports ever. You're running, I don't know, 9 months a year long. Like you work harder than any professional sport I know out there. They extend the season to maximize advertising dollars and the rest of it. So
Yep.
when are you done this year?
We're done November 6th or 8th, something like that. So that
And
first,
then you're in Kansas hunting 3 days later. Is that right?
I am in Kansas a couple days later, hunting at Hooray this year. I'm gonna hit our farm in Trenton, Missouri, and on the way to Kansas, I'm gonna try and sneak out of work a couple days early Wednesday afternoon, and just get like Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday at some point head to the track, because postseason should be pretty good at that time. Hopefully the weather's cooling off a little bit, and
that's gorgeous area up there.
Yeah, and the racetrack is only about 2.5 hours from our farm, so it'd be an easy drive over there Saturday.
And that's your last race of the year's in Kansas City?
No, that's in Phoenix. Kansas is probably 4 to go. That's the November. I think it's October 22nd, 3rd, and 4th or something is what I'm trying to get out to Missouri. Yep.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Well,
I grew up in New England. Like from as far as my past is just a kid that liked cars and worked on stuff. But my dad worked on modifieds. My uncle owned one. My father built motors and cars, and so from a young kid, racing has been just, I guess you'd say, literally in the family and the genes. And from 14, it's really kind of all I've done is race, worked on race cars, and asphalt modifieds, to Bush North cars, to the Bush cars down here in the South, and then had opportunities to go work on some Cup cars, and 30 something years later, I'm still here.
It's still here and super successful. So you were running the Tony Stewart team when he was king, right?
Yeah, I was crew chief there. Started the 20 from scratch, so that was a lot of fun, and that was certainly some pretty fun. And the sport was growing so much at that time, and for us to have all our success in the mid 2000s, it was just a blast. I mean, the people that we met, and the friends that I've met and are still friends with from the things, and just the people and the partnerships, and it was just an amazing time in our sport. Our sport is still doing really well. It was growing so fast and so hard at that time. It was just really cool to be part of.
Yeah. So there's a question here from Kevin Akers. He asked if you'll be coming to the Iowa Deer Classic this year, which I believe is kind of a February thing, if I remember right.
No, I probably won't make it, because February, we're at the Coliseum, and the first weekend in February, the weekend before Super Bowl, for the All-Star race this year. Then it's Super Bowl weekend, and then we start Daytona 500, and then we go right through till first or second week of June before we even have a weekend off. So I'll stay busy early.
So you're off. Yep. Awesome. Well, tell us so what's the most exciting hunt you think you're going to have this year? So you're going to be able to hunt 6-7 times, you said?
Yeah, hopefully. Yep. I mean, I'm hoping honestly, Missouri farm, we've got some really really, really nice studs. Hal's done a really good job over the past 3 years of managing the herd and
Uh-huh.
really having some mature bucks. So I've been there a few times. I have not, for all the effort and time the house put in and the financial part of it. I have not harvested a deer off the property yet. My son killed a small buck a year ago out there with me, and I haven't.
Mhm.
So that will be a really sweet moment if one of these really nice bucks that we have, and I'm blessed to harvest it. Kansas, you just can't ever bet against Kansas right now with the way things have been there in the last 6 or 8 years. There's just some giant bucks, and Hooray does its first class operation. Have had some just God, I can't even tell you how many unbelievable encounters I've had there in the past. So I'm certainly looking forward to heading back there.
Well, it's been like 25,000 acres, and they don't do deer hunts there. I think they have
Yeah.
Michael Waddell hunt. I bought a charity hunt, so I got to hunt there once, but it cost me a lot of money to do it for the right causes. But outside of that, it's like the owner Waddell, maybe T-Bone or Nick if they draw, and you, as far as the guys I know that hunt there. So it is a special place,
Yep.
and they always
The
do it
people,
right.
yeah, and I was gonna say the people and the experience and the food and just that part of it is whether you harvest an animal or not is just first class and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like a
And
vacation. It's really, I love hunting and I don't mind roughing it. And I've been on tent hunts and things and loved it. But like right at the end of the season, and I get to go to this unbelievable place and the food that they cook, and my wife has actually gone with me a couple times. That's how nice of a hunt camp it is. And she's like, "When are we leaving? I'm going back this year."
that's awesome. We've got a question here from Hunter Cochran. He was asking, uh, what was one of your most memorable hunts spent with Tony Stewart?
One of my hunts.
Yeah.
Uh, Well, he's got an unbelievable place in Indiana with over 500 acres and has just had some unbelievable bucks there. And one of the craziest ones was I don't know that I've ever had an experience, an encounter with a with a giant. When I say giant, drop tine buck coming down a hill towards me. We had to move and get behind some trees, and here comes this stuff. He got so close to me. I never shot my rifle. I was shooting a 300 one mag, and I never shot it. Honestly, I hate to admit this. It a 20-yard shot, and the bullet had never rose, and I literally shot right underneath this close to 200-inch deer. But it was just like the moment of here he turned and started coming at us, and like we like had to hide, and camera guys hiding behind a tree, and I'm like literally hit the ground and ducking behind some tree and shot at him, and I unfortunately missed him and went back 2 or 3 times to hunt that deer, and he's still somewhere. He was a special animal. I still have nightmares about this
Did,
deer.
did Tony give you grief about that?
I think he still does every once in a
Still
while.
does. I bet so. Who has been? I've got a question here from Tony Smith too. Who's been the biggest impact on you as a hunter?
I'd honestly have to say Hal. Honestly, Hal has been, and I got a friend from Albany, New York, that's a big hunter that's taken me on a couple of good hunts. Jimmy Hens and those two have probably been the biggest from an influence and educational and things of that nature over probably the last 20 years of my life.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure the NASCAR fans, that kind of fall along that line as hunters but the crew and the drivers, do you see them? Are they as strong on the hunting side of the world too, as the fans are? Do you think?
The drivers, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the drivers and the crew.
There's a lot of them. I mean, like Martin Truex. I mean, he'll spend a ton of time in the woods. Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick does a little bit. Now he's got a son that's enjoying hunting, and I know he goes down to Bill's a lot and the Real Tree Farm and spends some time there. So There's quite a few of them that do, and it's cool that we share a lot of different passions, whether it be our jobs racing and then hunting, and being able to tell the stories and break each other's chops. When we get back together and get back racing.
Yeah. And are most of the teams really headquartered there in that North Carolina corridor where you are?
Yeah, honestly, 90 to 95% of them are right here between Mooresville, Concord, Huntersville. I mean, within probably a 15-mile circle.
Yeah.
We're all right here. Yep.
I've spent a lot of time there visiting Lowe's in my businesses as we've done stuff, but probably haven't had as much fun as we did at the racetrack those few years we went to be sitting right in the middle of it.
Yep.
Well, any plans to go hunt elk or anything else outside of whitetail this year?
We've got some land in Nebraska. It's got some pretty good pronghorn and some mule deer on it. So I'm hoping that I can be lucky enough with my Kansas and Missouri early, and then I have a place in Virginia that we do a lease of 1,000 acres there. And that's only a couple hours from me here. It's about 2 hours from my house, 2 hours and 15 minutes from work. So that's kind of like my little hunting hole for me to be able to, I can hunt there and be in work still and miss a couple hours or leave early and get an afternoon. So there's some really, really good deer up there. So those are my priorities, obviously. And then if all goes well, then I'll head out to Nebraska. Hal was out there and killed a whitetail already this year, first deer of the year. So congrats to him. And it's 50,000 of the most unbelievable, beautiful acres, open, rolling hills that you'd ever be part of. A very, very peaceful place.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Actually, I just
tag along with them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just got somebody passed me a note here that says Hal is watching tonight. So we're under pressure, or at least he'll hear the comments we make about him. So Hal, we hope you feel better. I'm glad you feel well enough that you can watch us tonight and do this. We miss you. I'm sure we'll have you catch you again.
Well,
but
if he's feeling good enough to watch it, don't you think he should be feeling good enough to be on here with us?
Oh God, you don't want to see Hal in a rough state, I don't think. So
that poor guy, I know. I feel bad for him. He was supposed to leave this morning and fly to our farm in Missouri because of some cold weather, and he saw some bombers last week when he was there archery hunting, and come home for a couple days, and it was really hot, and was headed back out this morning with John Tate, and wasn't feeling well, and went to doctors yesterday. So them bachelor groups in cold weather, boy.
Well, the last couple of days, it's cooled down here. So I sat in a stand a couple nights ago. We'd had a new buck show up a couple days before. He was huge. I was so excited. I wasn't getting daylight pictures of him, but I thought maybe, just maybe, because we had about a 25.
We lose you? Hello? Oh, trust me, we still love Hal too.
Zippy, are we back there?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay, I don't know what happened. It's funny. It says I had power. So anyway, I was sitting in my tree stand about 45, 50 yards off a feeder, and I had a lot of great action and some nice young bucks come in. Nothing that was worth shooting, but it felt good to be in the stand and feeling it. So I understand him. He should be in a tree right now.
I can't wait. I got my 15-year-old daughter who is wearing me out this year, who wants to have an opportunity to her first deer. So that should be a lot of fun.
Oh, those are always special times.
Yep, looking forward to it.
For them to go do that. Any other questions over there as we're going? Tell us a little bit about NASCAR and what your kind of daily work or weekly work looks like with those big, with all that's going on, the technology and the stuff. And so what are you focused on a weekly basis now?
Well, for me and where I sit now is obviously a little different than when I was crew chiefing, and you were worried about your 12 guys and your pit crew and your car. Now it's all four of our cup teams, our Xfinity team. It's the production of the cars, from CNC to the body hang to all of our departments. And this year we've got a lot going on because the next gen car is coming next year. So we're kind of trying to run down two paths of the Gen 6 car, which is our current car, and the next gen car, which we had a test in Daytona a couple weeks ago. We've got a test coming up at the Roval. We've got a test coming up at the Charlotte Oval. And then we're out in Phoenix in the middle of December with it. So building these cars, learning the new cars, as well as trying to perform at a at a level in the chase to continue on progressing, through the stages. So my days consisted with a lot of just meetings and just trying to organize things and spend time with people, department heads. It's more of a it's turned into way more lately from an HR, from a personnel and growth. We've got 320 something employees that
Wow.
work and report to me. So that's just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Are you running the business side of it too? So getting the sponsorships or just taking care of the sponsors once they get there?
No, we've got a really good group in our marketing department that's out. Brian and Brett, who are out, dealing with our sponsors. And for me, I deal with anything racing on a day-to-day or type of a level, hotel rooms and things of that nature, where we're going, staying, what time we're leaving, planes. I don't do anything with marketing or sales. So I've got enough.
Yes, I've got to know. Uncle.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I don't want to take up your whole night. I know you're busy. You said your son was had a football game tonight.
Yep.
And they won and played well. So
Yep.
I'll get it. We're all parents doing stuff out there.
Yeah, it's fun when I get to get time to just show up at a game, and I've missed so many of them since COVID, and that's not leaving on Fridays or Saturdays. It's allowed me to be home a couple more days a week and spend with the family. So unfortunately, COVID has been a pretty nasty thing for all of us to deal with, but it has allowed me to have a little more, some family time and get a couple more of the games now that the season's kicked. This year they're back. They're trying to have football. They're back in school, so that's pretty big for us, and it's good for the kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely, they should be back. So, well, that's good. Well, I hope I get to see you when you're in Kansas. I'd love to come out and grab you for dinner or see the big deer you shot when you shoot it. So
would love to.
Awesome. Well, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. And we wish Hal the best too, but good luck this weekend in Vegas.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
We'll catch up when you're out in November. So thanks again, Zippy. I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.